we have Haram by Goldlink, 15 songs, 37 minutes long. And this is Goldlink's probably like fourth effort. Yeah, we'll call after that we don't talk like a first effort, and
Yeah.
this would be the fourth.
Fourth.
Goldlink's second and third albums, At What Cost and Diaspora, were some of my favorite rap albums to come out of the tens. I think Goldlink has he's a little bit of a controversial artist, but he's got a really unique sort of like flow in those two albums, a way of describing a lot of different things and topics, from like sensuality to just like the usual sort of like rap nature things. And Haram is out with a little bit of a different sound. It's a lot grittier. It's a lot more raw. It's definitely a different
It's
look.
very eclectic. It's extremely eclectic. There's a lot of different sounds in here, which is a good thing, honestly.
Yeah, I'll say that there's some risks that Goldlink took that I like in here, and there's some that I didn't. I appreciate that the risks were taken, but that's just like is the facts of the matter and has to be said. You want to go? I feel like I've been talking a lot because I've been hosting. You want to like start and go in?
Yeah, so I liked this album. I did not expect it to be sounding like this at all. So like example, Extra Clip featuring NLE Choppa, Mugshot Award nominated NLE Choppa, vegan Zen man himself.
Everyone's
NLE
favorite
Choppa.
cancer doula, NLE Choppa.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Anyway, so it starts off with that, and that's like an interesting, like really dystopian track where the vocals and stuff are like muddled over with effects and everything, so you can kind of barely understand what they're saying on it, but it gets into this theme of almost like a dystopian style of production, but the album doesn't stay like that at all. So it's interesting to hear like that's the opening track. I was like, okay, well that's kind of how that's a track. And you have some other things like at the beginning you have 202 White Walls, which then get more into like your solid rap and trap and everything. Nothing too crazy. Noted the songs are very short though. All of them are about 2 minutes, maybe a little under 2 minutes at that opening, those first four songs. So they're really quick in succession in there. So part doesn't feel long at all. I've with Spit on It featuring Rizlowski. I don't know how to say that name. You still get kind of that vocal effect that you get on extra clip as well. So you have that really muffled sound kind of messing around with different beats and stuff on there too. And it's like when it starts to get interesting to me is at Terror Dome.
Yeah.
Terror Dome is when it just goes off a cliff and just goes, fuck it. We got electronics, baby. We're going to do this. And then it just starts going mental. And this is where I like it and I don't like it at the same time, because it's almost like you're trying to be Flying Lotus without being Flying Lotus at the same time. So it's like you're just trying something different, which I definitely appreciate. Some of it hits. Terror Dome to me doesn't, because it just was really out of place on there compared to the other four tracks before that. I was like, okay, this is definitely out of my field. One I like is Evian.
If I could, like, before that, you go in. I think the first part of the album and then split by Terror Dome feels like it's Goldlink's experimentation with this, but it's where it, I think, falls flat the most. Terror Dome, I think, is a really cool experimentation, but I think if I were going to, like, redo how I would do this album, coming at it from a Goldlink's going to try something different in the rap game kind of deal, I would definitely put Terror Dome near like the direct middle, like song 9 as opposed to being song 5. Yeah. It's not like a bad song. I like that it goes there. It's very different.
It's super abrupt out of nowhere. Boom, it hits. Yeah. Because those first four, even though they were kind of whatever to me for the first four, they were definitely cohesive and they meant together. That's why you get Terror Dome right after. I'm like, whoa, okay, what the hell's going on here? But there's some good stuff. Like after Terror Dome, you have Evian featuring Pink Panther S, Rizlowski and Rax. And that's a fun, like almost like UK house mix in there with rap and some other beats on top. It's a little messy, if anything, but it's fun because it gets upbeat. It makes it a little bit different into it, and I can really appreciate it as a track.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff throughout here. I like that. Yeah, more like Goldlink more than a lot of rappers is like really trying to sound different, and I appreciate that. Like, yeah, not all of it works the best or works super well, but like this is a good try, and like a lot of rappers of this sort of like caliber will not do that try. They will go
No,
the
no,
easier
absolutely
path.
not. They'll do the fee exactly. They'll do a future Drake and just stay exactly the same for 10 years. You'll be like, this is boring as hell.
Lately, if you have an artist do any sort of like callback to UK drill music, which is popular in the UK, it's like a trap sort of like subgenre. It's just essentially like a Pop Smoke posthumous rapper, where like Migos are just like failing to really get the beat properly, right? But in Culture Class with Fire, you get like Goldlink and Fire doing this like drill UK kind of beat, and they both do a very good job with it. It feels really nice. And then kind of skipping down around there, you get like Wild and Lethal Trash with Fire and Santa Gold, and that's another like really proper like
really good track.
fun track. Yeah, it sound like there are trap songs that sound a lot like this. I think a lot of artists have songs like that, but it's still like a really good song to go off of. It's one of those things where it's like, it shouldn't have been that short. It's like, you're too good. Should have kept it going for like 30 seconds longer or something, even if it's just letting the beat run out, something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in here that is good. Like I like Raindrops featuring Flo Milli a little bit earlier in the album as well, because again, that's like the flows, the production of it is good for trap, because we've gotten a lot of shitty trap recently on Audioface, so it's nice to get some different stuff. But in there, again, within the album, you have so much different experimentation. It's eclectic. It goes from it's like one place to another place to another place to another place. But it's something I can appreciate because again, it's not you're not stagnant. The most stagnant part is the first 4 tracks, and then the rest of the album, it just takes you on a journey of a bunch of different sounds that are trying to provoke different emotions and to provoke different things into you. And it's I do enjoy it.
Yeah, it's overall a really solid album. I just like, especially having seen Goldlink, Without What Cost, I still think is my favorite album of his, and having seen like just a purely just like complete win effort, like song hit, knowing he has it in them, it's both like that much more kind of, I guess, disappointing that Haram is not that, but I appreciate it at how much of a leap it is, how unsafe of a direction it is for Goldlink. It would have been super easy for Goldlink to go a continuation of At What Cost of Diaspora, which were 2 albums that sounded pretty different, and Goldlink even like did a different flow in Diaspora than At What Cost, and I was really proud with that. He could have gone a separate route and would have probably made an album that was pretty good and maybe even gotten like a stronger review than this. But I really just can't understand enough how much I appreciate it. Would have been
forgettable to me.
Exactly, I appreciate
because Haram is something like, for at least for us, it's definitely going to be on my radar throughout the whole year. There's tracks in here that I'll be listening to throughout the rest of the year. There's things in here I'm like, wow, I want to see what Goldlink can do with this different thing. What can you go on more about it? Because you only do it for one track necessarily. Can you expand more upon the sound that you experiment with and then use that more in a direction of an entire project instead of just one track? So that's the thing, the good thing with Haram. So
yeah, I am excited for Goldlink and to continue like making music and do what I think a lot of artists do after their like big experimental thing, whether it succeeds or it flops, but they combine what experimented and what worked with some of their older stuff, and they really evolve their sound and push it forward. So that's what's next for Goldlink, I imagine. And this is, again, like not a bad thing. It's just like, yeah, some of the experimentation could have been better, but not a lot of artists, especially like Goldlink's caliber, will experiment like that. So
we'll even try it.
Yeah. Arbitrary Scale, Federal Holidays again. I'm going to give this the old Labor Day. Because
I was going to give him Memorial Day, so, that works too.
Either way.
One of those days, it's one of those holidays that like people don't even know what it's about, so they just go out, celebrate, and go pitch a tent over in the beach and get drunk or some shit.
My favorite thing about Labor Day is how America was like, okay, we'll celebrate Labor Day, but not on May 1st, because then you might actually get the idea to go on strike. And Americans tend to confuse what Memorial Day is versus Veterans Day. And Veterans Day is basically like for armed service members who have died, and Memorial Day is for armed service members who are still alive. So